Hi, my name is Dr. Koheli Bhattacharya and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be answering how to ace your exams, because as a mother, as a parent, I know how important a child's education is. So if you are a student, do watch this, and if you are a parent, watch it even better. So I'm going to give you 7 different tips on how to speed read, how to memorize better, how to take notes better, how to be able to sit better for your exams as well as for your studies. And let us begin. So I'm going to start with the bottom, with the 7th number tip. So that is speed reading. So what is speed reading? It's being able to read faster. How can that help you? It can help you finish your homework faster. It can help you read the question paper faster. So it has a lot of uses when you want to ace your exams. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to speed read. The first tip is do not sub-vocalize. That means don't read each of the letters. Don't read it in your mind. Just know it by seeing the words. When you see elephant, you don't have to say the word elephant because our brain says the word much slower than it is able to see. Our sight is but bit faster than our audio. So don't sub-vocalize. The second tip is use your finger as a pointer while you are reading, because many a time we feel that we should not be using our finger, it will slow us down. So all these tips are by Jim Quick and in his book Limitless. So use a finger and you will see that you are reading faster. And the third tip he says is repetition. So at the beginning of the week, read using without sub-vocalizing, without reading each and every word, just seeing the letters and using a finger, and at the end of say a minute, see how many words per minute you have read. Now keep repeating these 2 skills because it's a skill to speed read, and after a week write your numbers. If you have your numbers, you can drop them in the comments below. The second thing I'm going to teach you other than speed reading is how to memorize something. I know in India, rote learning is something that we have always done, right? Every type of education is based on some amount of rote learning. And even though I don't like rote learning and the other points don't follow rote learning, let me teach you a very practical two methods in which you can help memorize. The first method is called story method. So say you have 5 things to memorize, like tomato, egg, milk, shoe and tree. So the tomato, milk, egg, shoe and tree. So make a story about yourself, and you're walking on the road and someone throws a tomato at you and you look around and you see that it was actually an egg which was there, and the egg is actually now drinking milk, and then you go forward and then you slip and you see your shoe flying and your shoe goes and lands on a tree. So that is the kind of vague and weird story that you have made, but now you have linked them in that way. So now you know the story is going to go from tomato to egg to milk to shoe to tree. The same thing you can use in location method. So location method says that look around a place which you always look around. So it could be your bedroom. It could be the distance from entering your house to walking to the kitchen. So identify maybe 5 to 10 things that you see every time you walk from the door to the kitchen, or go clockwise around your bedroom. Say for example, we are doing the door to the kitchen. The first thing is the door of the house. The second thing is your shoe rack. The third thing is the mat, the floor mat. The fifth thing is the kitchen sink. And the sixth thing is the kitchen stove. So this is something which you see every day, and you can mentally see yourself. Okay, I'm going to enter the door, then there's going to be the shoe rack, then there's going to be the floor mat, then there's going to be the kitchen sink, and then there's going to be the kitchen stove. You've seen it every single day. Now, the 5 things which we needed to remember, we are going to place them at those places. So at the door, you keep the tomato. At the, what did I say next? Shoe rack, you are going to keep the egg. At the floor mat, you are going to keep the milk. At the kitchen sink, you're going to keep after the shoe. So we're going to keep the shoe. And at the kitchen stove, we're going to keep the tree. So you see that you can use either the location method or the story method, and these are different ways that you can help memorize in sequence, right? The next point is take better notes, and this is my favorite point because I was excellent at this. Now I have taken many exams in my life. I have done this process many times, and I hope that I can teach it to many more parents and many more children. So taking better notes. The first thing is, why are you writing those notes? Are you writing those notes for your exam? Are you writing those notes so that you understand a concept better? Are you writing those notes so that you can write a long answer or a short answer or be able to answer a viva question? Because each of those notes are going to be a bit different. So when I am taking notes, I need to know, is this for my practical surgical skills? Are these little tips for my surgical skills, or are these practical tips for my OPD patients, or are these practical tips for my life coaching skills? Is this something which I'm going to tell the client, or is this something for me to internalize? So it's better to write down why you're doing it. So when you're in class, you are just writing whatever the teacher is telling you, right? And it is better to write than to type, because when you're writing, just the act of writing helps you recollect almost 30% more. So take copious notes. I love to make notes, and everyone wants my notes. For every possible coaching class that I go right now, even for every single session I attend, I make copious notes. So once you've written the notes, you want to come back to your notes and then subdivide them. Wherever you've written abbreviations, you want to write the full form of that abbreviation, because otherwise you'll forget later on that, oh my God, what is this abbreviation I write? Or some point which was told by the teacher, but there was a backstory which you didn't have time to write then. So you want to write the backstory at that time, that hey, this is how she linked it. This is what she said before, which made more sense. So you're going to add the context to the content later. So when you're writing notes, you're writing only content. You're just writing the content. Whatever I'm saying right now is content. But when you've heard this video, I want you to write your own notes on what you heard today and write the context. Yes, I'm going to use this over there. I'm going to use this tip over here. I'm going to use the memorization for my grocery list. I'm going to use the speed reading for my newspapers. So just add your context to the content, which will help you take better notes. The next thing is employ active recall. So here, after you have read a chapter, close it, actively recall what you remember, and then again open it, redo it, whatever you forgot, whatever points you forgot. Again close it, again go over whatever it is, and do it 4 times. So each time you are actively recalling. Active recall is going to help you retain whatever you've read, rather than reading it once and saying, oh fine, I've read it once, tomorrow I'll come back to it again. Active recall is done at the same time when you're doing it for the first time. You read the chapter, close it, and say it out to someone. This is what the story was about. This was what the lesson was about. And then you go back. Like you go back and watch this video the second time, and you'll be able to see the bits that you missed out on. So active recall is doing it at the same time, right? This was made by William Clem. He's the one who spoke about it. The next is called employ spaced repetition. There's a difference between recall and repetition. Recall is at that same time. Repetition is once you've done this activity of studying it and recalling it 4 times, that time, next day, after 24 hours, you're going to repeat that lesson again. Then you're going to do it every alternate day for 7 days. So every alternate day. And next you're going to do it every weekly. Weekly you're going to repeat and revise. So this is a revision or a repetition. If you are able to do this, you will be able to retain information for long-term memory. Understood? We are going to keep it for long-term memory. If you are a medical student, you know how important this is, because we have studied things for 15 years, right? And I have studied things which 20 years back, 21 years back when I started medical college, 21 years back, what I studied in my anatomy and physiology class, I need to be able to recall that 21, maybe another 40 years hence. So I need that to be a long-term memory. So that is learning better. You're not just learning for one exam tomorrow. You want this to be long-term, forever and ever. You need to do spaced repetitions. Read it today. Tomorrow you revise it again. Every alternate day for 7 days. Then every weekly for another 5 weeks. Till the time you have to do the exam. And that is when it becomes long-term memory. The next thing we are going to talk is manage the state you are in. What does that mean? Sitting back, you've heard this all the time from your parents. Don't lie in bed and study. Don't lie down and keep the book up and study. Don't be lazy and study. Sit up, feet down, stay focused, be active. That is what all our parents have said, and it does have scientific meaning to it, that when you are in a state of active learning, that is why when you go for these amazing classes, they'll make you clap in the beginning, shake yourself out, pump yourself up before you sit for exams or sit for a study routine, that before you sit down to study, you can't be like, okay, fine, I have to again read this. Pump yourself up with can-do spirit. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm ready to have like an amazing 90 minutes session. And again, another tip is that set yourself 90 minutes of deep work. 90 minutes of absolutely no screen time, no digital time, no one disturbing you, and really pump yourself up and sit down for manage your state and sit down. The last point is build focus. Now focus, again, as I already said, you can build focus only when there is no distraction around you. So the most distracting thing for us is our mobile phones. So keep the mobile phone in another room, and if you're thinking you will have to study on your mobile or you're studying on your mobile, put it on airplane mode and study on your mobile. There is nothing that you will do for the next 90 minutes. For another way to build focus is by candle gazing or Trataka yoga. I've already explained it in another video. Another way to build focus is by doing breathing exercises, which is like breathe in 4 times, then hold your breath for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold your breath for 4. That is called box breathing. So do a little bit of breath work, calm yourself down, focus on an object or focus on your finger for a minute. That will build your focus, and do not have your screen around you. So these are some tips to ace your exams, and best of luck for your exams, and best of luck to the parents whose children are going in for exams.